guys. I think that it's absolutely crazy that we only have 2 more books that we're going to read together that are Christmas themed. We might do some more later, but we'll see. Today, we are going to read Who's That Knocking on Christmas Eve by Jan Brett, which is kind of funny because it's not Christmas Eve, but it's Christmas Eve. Okay, so Who's That Knocking on Christmas Eve by Jan Brett. Jan Brett also wrote and illustrated the first book that we read, Christmas Trolls. High above the Arctic Circle, in the land of ice and snow, the northern lights shimmer in the night, like a curtain of color hanging from the sky. There's reindeers. The air is so crisp and clear in this northern place that one Christmas Eve long ago, a boy from Finnmark on his way to Oslo with his ice bear could see smoke curling up from a hut far in the distance. He was cold and hungry, so he headed toward it. Far off in another direction, someone else smelled the smoke, and even though he couldn't see it, he raced off to tell the others. Who's racing off to tell the others? As the boy from Finnmark made his way toward the hut, Kyri was inside feeding the fire that made the smoke that roasted and baked the fine food. Delicious sausage and fish and tasty buns and cakes were all laid out on a pine table. Sweet porridge bubbled over the fire, and apple cider stayed cool on the windowsill. So why did Kyri jump at every creak in the sod roof? And why did she run to the window when an icicle fell into the snow? Why did Kyri do that? That sounds yummy. Some Christmas dinner there. Delicious. It was because in years past on Christmas Eve, trolls came when they smelled the delicious aromas coming from the hut. They would pound on the door until it burst open, and they wouldn't leave until they had eaten up every bit of the Christmas Eve meal. No troll invasion this year, Kyri's father had said. I'm going up the mountain to watch and chase them away. And off he had gone to stop the trouble before it even began. So this year, Kyri was alone in the hut when she heard a soft sound at the door. Knockity knock, 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 knockity knock, knock. Someone was out there, but surely it was too polite a knock to be a troll. Kyri went to the door and peeked out. Who's outside the door? Let's find out. There was the boy from Finnmark with his ice bear. Please let me inside to warm up, he said. I'm on my way south to show off my bear for the townsfolk of Oslo. I have many frosty miles behind me and many more to go. Come in, Kyri said, but I have to warn you that in years past our house has been invaded by a pack of hungry trolls. Trolls would be a welcome adventure, the boy said. So he came in, and the ice bear crawled under the warm stove and fell asleep. He's under the stove. Like my dog. He's so cute. Kyri and the boy had just settled down in front of the fire when they heard, not so softly this time, knockity knock, knock, knockity knock. There's no one home, the boy called out. He was certain it was trolls, so he pushed the big chest in front of the door. Knockity knock, 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 knock. There's no one home. That's kind of ironic. When all was quiet, Kyri and the boy sat down in front of the fire again. Kyri got to thinking, I wonder if the porridge is creamy enough, and she ladled a bit of it into bowls for each of them. They had just raised their bowls when they heard a loud knockity knock, knockity knock. It was as if someone was pounding on the door with a big rock. "No one at home," the boy from Finnmark shouted, and he ran to lock all the windows. Porridge. Yum, porridge, Maggie. Maggie is coming. She's my audience as well today. It was quiet again, but the delicious smells wafted around the hut. Kyri got to thinking, is the sausage salty enough? She took a piece for herself and gave one to the boy. They had just raised their forks when they heard the thunderous knockity-knock, knockity-knock. The hut shook, and they heard a loud crack. It was the cellar trapdoor splintering open. Kyri and the boy ran to the animal shed and pulled the door shut just as a torrent of noisy trolls burst up from the cellar. Oh, you guys know what a cellar is? A cellar is like a basement. What are they going to do? They were bat-eared trolls. They were bug-nosed trolls, and each troll was wilder and more raucous than the one before. They munched and grunted, shrieked and cackled, splashed the cider, and crammed themselves with Christmas cakes. Then, when they were through stuffing themselves, they tumbled about, pinching each other, stamping on the other's toes, and tweaking their long snouts, which is how trolls have a good time. Kind of sounds like Tig and Meg. I wonder if they're a part of the tribe. That would be pretty crazy. But through the ruckus and the din, the tiniest troll spied the ice bear under the stove. He took the hot morsel of sausage he had been roasting in the fire and screeched, "Have a bit of sausage, kitty?" And he poked the sleeping bear's nose with it. Uh-oh. He poked the bear's nose with it. The ice bear leaped up with a tremendous roar, his nose burning terribly. Growling, he chased the little troll and all the big trolls around the table, up the walls and out the windows. "Scratch them, kitty!" "Ah, the bear!" Kyri and the boy cheered as they watched the trolls scramble off through the ice and snow, howling. Up on the hill, Kyri's father heard the shouts, so he raced down on his skis. Of course, he went up there on skis. Thank goodness the bear was there to help them. When he saw the trolls, Kyri's father could tell in an instant that they wanted to be as far away from the little hut as they could. "Goodbye, trolls," he shouted as they disappeared up the mountain, and he skied home. "What a fine bear you have," he told the boy from Finnmark. "Thank you for scaring away those pesky trolls. You must come back next year for a real Christmas Eve feast on your way home from Oslo." And they all sat down for some porridge. Zoe. Zoe likes this story. It's a good one. A year later, Kyri was on the mountain gathering wood to make a fire to cook their dinner on Christmas Eve, when the littlest troll popped out from behind a snowbank. "Misty," he called in a high, crackly voice. "Missy, do you still have that kitty that sleeps under the stove?" "Oh yes," Kyri said, "only she has grown up to be a big cat now, and she has 7 kittens, all larger and fiercer than herself." Whoa. Do you think the bear really had 7 little kitties? I don't think so. But that's what Kyri said on her skis. "Ah!" he screeched. "Then we won't be visiting your hut on Christmas Eve." And he disappeared into a large snowdrift. Silly troll. And that is the end, you all, with Kyri on the back. You all have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow with maybe some special guests. crazy. Bye, guys.